Hey everybody, it's Dr. Pearlman, and I wanted to make a video today that is something that is kind of hybridized to a video that was supposed to be released on Saturday, and I decided not to release that video. I thought it could have been a little too judgmental in certain aspects of not just chiropractic, but even people that were judging chiropractic. And I never want to be biased in anything that I do, even though there's bias in everything we do and everything we decide to do. Of course, there's a biased aspect of like what we think about what we like or what we've responded well to or experiences we've had with somebody or something, and thus, what we favor. And as you should know, if you don't know by now, I am a chiropractor and I do adjust subluxations, I do adjust the spine, and that is something that I have found great benefit of in my life from an early age all the way up until now, that I still think, despite having back surgery last September, and I had L4, L5, S1 decompressive lumbar surgery, which is called a foraminotomy, laminotomy, or foraminectomy, laminectomy. It's not, it's a laminotomy. It's like partial of the foramen to open up the nerve roots in the spinal cord. That was a problem. I still get adjusted regularly, and it's still the number one thing that I tell everybody that I think they should do, assuming there's no reason or that they're contraindicated for it. And newsflash, there's very few people that are going to be contraindicated for a chiropractic adjustment, because chiropractic adjustment could be incredibly light and chiropractic adjustment can be very deep and aggressive. It just is case by case dependent. So the first part of this video is going to be about 20 seconds, and that's going to be me calling out all the people that make hit pieces about chiropractic or say that chiropractic is somehow not safe. You guys have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, and you're taking your cherry pick data and you're using like a case here, a case there, and you're making up wacky numbers like 1 in every 20,000 injuries, when in actuality, if you actually knew where to look for the meta-analyses that exist and the documented case of issues that happen up here in a scary way that exist, it would be probably more like 2 in every 250,000. And even that is probably too much, because it's possible that whoever's documenting it is, making out chiropractic to be the bad guy, and that could possibly be one of the reasons that it sheds light on us in that way. So after we now have moved that out of the way, and I say to the people that don't like chiropractors because of maybe an experience they had or something they read or a stigma that's out there, or they don't like what they see on social media if it comes to it being party tricky, which is a whole other conversation, then all I say is know your facts. If you're going to attack chiropractors, know your facts. Okay, here we go. Part 2 of the video. What can chiropractic do for me, and how do I know what to do or which chiropractor to go to, and what should I expect at a chiropractor? And this is sort of where a lot of my videos and my content have been focused outside of the dietary world, because I still think, and by the way, this is not targeting any patients of mine. Yes, we saw about 5 or 6 very acute lower back patients just this last week, up and through today, but it is not targeting any one of you whatsoever, meaning, no, I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to everybody collectively. So if I'm speaking to you, it's not directed at you. This is everyone collectively. And I've got to set the record straight, so I hope you share this video with your friends, family, and loved ones, because here's the deal. Chiropractors, non-chiropractors, you guys, people, patients, people in pain, people not in pain, people who go to chiropractors for wellness or to get their spines checked, that's great too. You got to understand, you're still missing the big picture, okay? And most chiropractors, including me up until probably within the last year, missing the big picture. And the big picture is, it is that chiropractic isn't about pain. And see here, you think I'm going to say something, but you're wrong about what I'm going to say. You are dead wrong. Chiropractic isn't about pain in the aspect that it's about function and feeling optimal and getting checked. No. Chiropractic is about pain, because people go to the chiropractor because of a pain or a dysfunction, and somebody like a non-chiropractic person, their friends or their family says, hey, I know someone who can help you. And that person is me a lot of the time, right? Or you out there, another chiropractor. You do that thing that's separate and distinct, and people say, oh, I know someone that can help you. And you're kind of coming in, you're like, oh, I need a big adjustment. My back hurts, my rib hurts, my back, my ankle hurts, my neck. I think I slept wrong and all this stuff. If you think that you're going to the chiropractor for pain, you're right, because pain is a symptom that will be addressed. But the bigger picture, okay, the big picture is that you're actually going to chiropractic because of a long-term problem that has been acutely exacerbated, that is really the proverbial straw that has broken the camel's back. If you don't believe me, it's time to start believing when people like me talk like this. My back didn't go bad because I put the leash on the dog one day and I reached, 10 degrees past flexion to my vulnerable, bottom disc. No. My back went out that time, and it was finally enough. Enough is enough, and I couldn't cheat the matter, right? Limitations of matter. My back was choked out. It was time. But that happened likely. The genesis of that was a football head-on collision injury at practice, probably back in 1997 or 1998, if I recall. That was the genesis of my back problems because my body was protecting, locking down. There's lots of signs on my MRIs and x-rays. It was locking down, trying to protect the spinal cord, because what you have to remember, guys, is your brain and your spinal cord are your lifeline. It is your central nervous system. It's all that matters outside of the visceral and the heartbeat and the gut and all that. Meaning if you don't have function of your nervous system, you might as well be dead. No offense if that came out the wrong way. Please don't. Don't try to get offended with a statement like that. Think about what I just said. If you don't have function of your nervous system, your brain and spinal cord, it's probably not worth living. And here's why. Because you are going to be dependent on someone for the rest of your life if you're even fortunate to be breathing on your own, because 3, 4, and 5 keeps the diaphragm alive. The atlas and the vagus nerve, not the atlas, but the vagus nerve that travels through the atlas is the wanderer. It is responsible for the gut, and they talk about the gut having, the first brain, or the gut being the second brain, any which articles or research you read. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is it turns the power on. You can't see without your spinal cord. You can't breathe without your spinal cord. Your heart doesn't function without your spinal cord. Can your spinal cord function without your heart? With medical allopathic intervention temporarily, and maybe even vice versa. But I promise you that you need your spinal cord. But what am I getting at saying that and being so staunch about that? I'm letting you know that your body and your joints, meaning your bones, that's right, the bones that are out of place, as chiropractors say, your alignment, your posture, is all set up and built, structure dictating function in this sense, to protect your spinal cord. So what happens when your life force, nervous system, has something that's trying to protect? There's going to be a lot of tension. There's going to be a lot of buildup and pressure and protection over there. And so why do you go to the chiropractor? To have optimal function through the nervous system via the spinal joints to improve your spinal overall health. And just like I mentioned, the injury for me back in the 90s that led to a lifelong problem and product of my spine being vulnerable to acute injury and horrible debilitating pain. What do you think happens to you out there when you went to bend down to pick up the laundry basket, or you bent to pick up the keys, or maybe you're a little bit younger and can handle more load before it gives out? You're at the gym doing deadlifts, and then your back tweaks and you're really in a bad spot. And then all of a sudden you're like, the next day I didn't think much of it because it used to go away on its own, and I was just putting on my sneakers and my back went out. It didn't go out because you slept wrong. It didn't go out because your back, got hurt doing a lift last week. It didn't go out because you swam wrong or you have the wrong shoes and things like that. It happened because you have a, 5, 10, 15-year problem that finally decided that it can't take it anymore. Our realistic way to think of it is a repeat stressor to tissue leads to tissue deformation. Tissue deformation goes to and causes scar tissue around an injury, again, to protect the spinal cord, and then the spine begins to compensate. And that's why we'll use the term like alignment. I hate the term alignment, but it's an easy way to assess what we're talking about, which is if your spine is compensating away from pain, you begin to get lots of ligaments and tendons that begin to not just calcify or gristle, but actually are hardening and calcifying and becoming these like what we call compensations that become very problematic tissue in other parts of the body. Last little example I have before I kind of wrap up the video is when I had horrible back pain and danger on my left side, my right upper side used to be in so much pain through the compensating that it was almost the primary pain all the time. Now that my back is a whole lot better, I feel the right side of back pain from time to time, not nearly as much, but I certainly know what it's like to have that nasty, ridiculous pain shooting down the leg on the left side still from time to time. So again, when the body compensates because it's trying to protect the spinal cord, those are really the reasons you're going to the chiropractor. You're going to the chiropractor to have those situations assessed and those situations addressed, thus treating your spinal cord and caring for your spinal cord and caring for your spinal column, and thus caring for your nervous system all the time. One, can we help prevent that kind of injury in the future, even with the damages done? The answer is it depends. That's why I was talking about Stu McGill in the beginning. It depends. How old are you? How much calcified bone is around the spinal cord and the nervous system? How much is just a disc that is a little bit inflated / swollen / injured that's causing terrible pain triggers? Yes, those can be debilitating, but those don't last forever. The other question is what type of desensitization can be done? How sensitive to the tissue is it, not just to touch, but to movement, and thus creating what we call in chiropractic a cavitation, which is the release of gas in the joint. But in actuality, what it really is isn't just gas in the joint, if you heard the knuckles weakly crack there, because there's absolutely no comparison about knuckles cracking or toes cracking. When it comes to the spine, believe me, because of pain inhibition, no-Cceptors that are within the densely packed within the fibers and various collagen fibers and layers of the disc, the mechanoreceptors are packed deep within the ligaments and same tissues as well. And what that does is it inhibits pain, and it makes the brain respond to movement and the pressure change, the pressure gradient change. And that's how you can actually reduce pain and stimulate, everybody loves the word endorphins, pain modulators, endorphins in the brain for days, weeks, months on end. And a lot of stuff is age dependent. A lot of it is spinal damage and pre-existing condition dependent. And a lot of it is also the psychology, that deep psychosocial model that everybody chalks up chiropractic to placebo, even though there's definitely a no-Cebo, right? Oh, this is crazy, this isn't gonna work. Oh, how did it work so well? No, because if you thought it wasn't gonna work, it wouldn't work if you believed in placebo, no-Cebo, and understood the difference between the two. So what I'm trying to tell you, and yes, I'm talking fast because I'm trying to sum up this video without boring you to death, but show you the passion that I'm trying to bring across to you, and let you know what chiropractic can do for you, and what it will do for you many, many, many great times over and over again, if you know how to switch it up, and if you go to a provider that knows how to, switch it up, but work in combinations and patterns and teach you things that you can do on your own. Because a lot of things matter, just like I was touching on the psychosomatic model. There's a deep psychological component about allowing your body to heal. One of my great friends, Adriana Morales, who's my massage therapist and my personal bodywork expert, if you will, she comes from a different, school of thought than I do, but she's taught me so much in the last few months. One of the big things she's taught me was, are you gonna be able to give your body a chance to heal? Can you have a conversation, deep emotional conversation with yourself that says, body, I give you the permission to heal. I give you permission to do these things without these limitations. So number one, is there a limitation of matter? Like I had, like I've sent multiple patients out for surgery because they have that, that's number one. And number two is, if you do have it, how much help can we still give you? Same number one topic. If it's there and maybe we've tried a small, easy, fast trial of care to see, and we make no progress at all, maybe you do need that removed before you can get well. But what about the ones that's not a question? Like we take an x-ray, we take an MRI, there's no limitations of matter. Everything is good, but of course you're still in pain. Pain is subjective. Pain is, a symptom that you feel that you can relate to, talk to about, oh, doctor, it hurts here, it hurts there. You wouldn't understand. It might sound crazy, people say. No, it doesn't sound crazy. We understand, or at least we hope that we all understand. I know that I am very empathetic to people that are in a great amount of pain because of my own story. But where that pain is, and can we diagnose it? Can we then deliver the proper care to reduce it and become functional again, which happens at the greatest percentage of the time, and finding the tools to get you to that point where chiropractic is just maintenance. And the last thing I want to say is, because I say maintenance, is a lot of people talk about, chiropractors, and you're going to go all the time, and all these passive therapies, you never stop going, got to go all the time. Listen, when you've been to a chiropractor and you felt the positive benefit of why it feels so good and how it could help you, you're probably going to go as a first line of defense many times over throughout your life, because, I could sprain my wrist today gripping something, holding a shopping bag too tight. I could be playing tennis tomorrow and then my other wrist or my elbow hurts. I could be playing basketball with some friends, land the wrong way, and then my back starts to really hurt. I could be at home watching a movie, get off the couch a little too quickly because my body was fatigued, or I ate something wrong and I was a little inflamed and my back is tight and I want to go and get a nice adjustment, right? I could keep giving these examples. You wouldn't go to the chiropractic first? It's the most affordable, the most accessible, and fastest acting, non-drug, non-side effect having type of modality or intervention you can get. and anyone out there who wants to argue that I'm wrong, go ahead, say, I could take some Advil and be fine. Go ahead, rely on Advil over the course of your lifetime, let alone a few months. Abuse Advil. We'll see how far your gastrointestinal system gets before you start having real issues. I've been there, I know. And again, I'm not saying that it's got to be chiropractic or nothing. I'm saying understand what chiropractic is, understand what chiropractic does, understand how it can help you throughout the lifetime, being as a part of like a modality or as someone you go to for your life, for optimization, for pain reduction, for everything else we just talked about. All right, everyone, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna shut this video off here. I hope that this was helpful. I hope it was insightful. I hope it was education and value driven, because at least from me to you, that was the intention. Until next time, everybody, it is Dr. Pearlman.